Do T Squad, it's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3 Episode 1. So today, the first 3 episodes from Season 3 of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip dropped on Peacock, so make sure you check out all 3 episodes. I will be reviewing each episode separately, so be on the lookout for the other 2 reviews today as well. Now let's get directly into this episode. So the ladies prepare for the trip to Thailand. Sounds like an amazing vacation, honey. And the Salt Lake City girls are nervous because, according to Heather, this is the big leagues, honey. They are, rumbling in the jungle. They feel like, they're the freshmen going into high school, and these are the cool senior girls. Like, they're totally fangirling out, especially Heather, honey. Heather literally is acting like she's starring in the movie Heathers. Like, she's just doing team too much. So, mind you, when filming began on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, literally about a few weeks prior, filming had just wrapped for season 7 of Real Housewives of Potomac. So at the end of the season, Giselle and Candace left off on a decent note, but they hadn't yet seen season 7. So they didn't know that it was going to end up the way that it ended up, going. And she didn't know all the things that was said from Giselle throughout the season. So they came into this being, cordial at least. So 2 days prior to leaving for the trip, Jen Shah pled guilty, and Heather and Meredith were in New York with her when it all happened. So she's still reeling from the news that Jen actually did commit those crimes and had been lying to her the whole time. So, baby, it's a lot going on already on this trip. The ladies finally arrive in Phuket, and they meet their concierge, this guy named Pepsi. Whitney is nervous to meet Candiace because she said that she was her least favorite housewife. So she don't know if she knows that she said that or whatever. And Candace got a bad rap because of her mouth, and people think that she mean and all of that type of stuff. So when they get to the house, Giselle asks Heather about the whole Jen situation. And Heather was like, she swore on her family that the charges were BS. And Giselle was like, she knew she did it. Like, there was no way you didn't think that girl did what they were saying that she did. Heather is still playing coy and saying, I still ride for her. And Giselle and Alexia looking at her like, what, girl? You still ride for her after she been lying to you, swearing on her kids and her family? Like, how you still riding for somebody that would do that? Like, Heather, it's something wrong with Heather. Like, I don't know if she is just so desperate to be liked and to have friends. Like, it's something like not coagulating in her brain that she accepts people dogging her and running over her and using her and manipulating her. Like, she's an idiot. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just like, girl, get a backbone, get some self-esteem about yourself. I understand you look like the singer Meatloaf, but you don't have to act like it. Jesus. So Leah, Marisol, and Portia arrive, and as soon as they walk in, everybody's hugging each other, greeting each other. Some people already know each other, some people don't. Heather doesn't know. I think she only knew like maybe 1 or 2 people. And when she met Leah, she was like, how are you going to stay sober with this crew? And I'm like, you don't say nothing like that to somebody and you just meeting them for the first time, like bringing up her sobriety. And like, that's just weird. I don't know if she's one of them people that is awkward around new people, or I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. So Leah was like, I'll be fine. And Heather was like, well, I'm here to support you. And she was like, and I just got grilled. And Leah was like, about the Jen situation. And she was like, yeah, I feel like, you're someone who was manipulated by a narcissist. And Heather was like, okay, let's throw the gauntlet down. Like, she was offended by that. I'm like, you was offended by that, but you don't think that greeting this woman, talking to her about her sobriety was rude? And you are easily manipulated, and Jen is a narcissist. So where's the lie? I'm trying to figure it out. So Heather was like, I'm an easy target. I can't change it. And I was like, that's your problem. You have this victim mentality where you just lay down on the ground and allow people to stomp all over you. And you then, it's like she don't even care almost. It's like she don't care about nothing. She don't love herself. She really don't. So Alexia is speaking into Marisol in Spanish, and Giselle was like, no Spanish. We're not doing that because she don't know what they saying. And I'm like looking at her like, oh my God, you are like literally being a weirdo. Like you can't tell these grown middle-aged women that they can't speak in their native tongue just because you have some insecurity about thinking somebody talking about you. Like, Giselle, did you hit your head on that god-awful, gaudy checkerboard floor of yours? What is wrong with these people? I don't know if the Thailand heat had gotten to them as soon as they got there, but everybody had literally lost their mind. So Portia asked Giselle why everybody online thinks that she and Candiace are going to get into it. And I was like, girl, you already know why. And it's because you stuck up for Monique when they had their altercation. So then Giselle asks Whitney, is she and Heather beefing? And Whitney was like, the Jen stuff was hard. I don't get the same loyalty from her. And Leah was like, are you and Giselle cool? And Candace was like, yeah, we're good. Don't trust Giselle though. Laugh with her and hang out, but don't tell her none of your business because next thing you know, it's going to be all over the news. And she was like, she will do and say anything for a rating for a television show. And that's the God's honest truth. Like Giselle came in with an agenda and a plan to do the same stuff that she does on her show, but in a shorter amount of time. Like they weren't even there a good 30 minutes before she started having issues with people and starting arguments and confronting people on this and asking people questions. It's just like, girl, can you not be on the clock for 5 minutes? Can you just be a normal person? Like, what is wrong with you? Oh my goodness gracious. And as far as Whitney and Heather is concerned, and with Whitney saying she felt like, Heather isn't loyal to her like she is to Jen. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. I don't know what spell Jen put over Heather, but it's starting to give me that they was scissoring, like people were saying that they were, because baby, she gonna stick up for Jen. Come hella high water. Like that is her boo thing, baby. Anybody else can fall to the wayside. I firmly believe she'll stick up for Jen over her own kids, child. That's how much she loved that lady. So, Giselle tells Portia that Heather should be mad with Jen and Whitney has some tea. Like she once again is trying to create drama. And even Portia was like, you can't like tell that woman how to feel. If she don't want to be mad about it, she ain't gotta be mad about it. Like that's just because you would feel that way don't mean that she would even feel that way. And I noticed that Giselle and Portia on this trip reminded me of freaking Frat. Her and Phaedra. Like they are two people that do not need to be around each other because they feed off each other's negativity and being messy. Portia and Giselle. And I was like, I don't have time for this at all. So Marisol don't feel good, but refuses to drink any water. And I was like, and you wonder why your stomach hurt. You constipated, lady. All you do is drink alcohol all day. You barely eat. Your body needs water to push your bowels through your intestines, lady. And you wonder why you look like a puke bag half the time because your insides are rotting. Gross. So Heather was like, here comes Leah. Let's get her drunk. And Portia was like, she don't drink. And Heather was like, that's the whole challenge, Portia. It won't be easy. And it's like, what? Why would you deliberately try to get a alcoholic person to drink for your amusement? What kind of sick Lifetime movie am I watching here? What is wrong with Heather? That lady got like 95 screws loose. So Giselle was like, Leah, I gotta ask you a question. If you drink this week, would it be a big deal? And Leah was like, yeah, it would ruin my life. So Giselle was like, oh, because Heather was like, let's get her drunk. And Leah was like, I was like a drug addict, like, huh? And Heather was like, yeah, I know, I read your book. What? So you mean to tell me you done read this girl biography because you a stan, first of all, and know that her sobriety is like serious, it's not nothing to play with, but yet and still you want to deliberately try to get her drunk? I'm speechless. Like I don't even know what's going on. I feel like I'm in an alternate universe. I feel like I'm in a demented episode of Black Mirror, and I ain't never even watched that show before. So Leah was like, you shady biatch. Heather just sitting there looking stupid, turning red, looking like a crawfish. And I was like, that's what you get. So everybody already at this point is side-eyeing Heather because she doing team too much. It's like, what's going on, love? So Leah tells the other girls about what Heather did. And Whitney was like, you know, she likes to joke, but doesn't realize that sometimes her jokes can be mean. That ain't even no joke. Like, that's just some underhanded, schemy type stuff. So Giselle was like, Heather and Whitney, y'all seem to be good. Is there any issues or not? So they discussed what happened at the lingerie party during the Salt Lake season and how Whitney basically was saying that Heather was lying about the whole Utah Jazz tickets thing situation. And she also brought up how Heather pushed her. So Portia was like, she's watching you ride for somebody who's lied to your face, talking about Jen to Heather. And Heather was like, I don't appreciate being gaslit by Whitney. I've always had your back. When you came up on a trip, that was not about you, not about you stirring the pot and making a moment. So Whitney was like, we're filming a TV show though. And Heather was like, well, you chose a TV show over me and used me as a sacrificial lamb. So the girls all then agreed with Heather that, like, Whitney, you on a whole other planet starting stuff for a television show that ultimately ruined your relationship with your cousin. Like, was it worth it? And I was like, oh, so you was putting on for the cameras. Like, you literally were, and you just like admitted it. So now it got me looking at the whole season again in another light, because when it was going on, I actually felt sorry for Whitney. And I still do to an extent, because at the end of the day, Heather still does treat her differently than how she treated Jen. She really honestly does. Like, you know, Whitney was going through her childhood traumas and everything, even though a part of me feel like there was a storyline. Yeah, I really honestly do. I really feel like there's some stuff she pulled out the woodworks for a storyline, but allegedly. But if it's true and you my cousin and supposed to be my best friend and you were not there for her, but you was there for Jen, make it make sense, because it don't make sense at all to me. So Whitney was like, I didn't do that for TV. Giselle is over it now. Like, she started it, but now she's over it because the conversation went on far too long for her taste. And I'm like, this devil her. So the ladies head to dinner that night, and they end up leaving Candace because she took too long. So they get to the little restaurant, and Leah was like, you know, the first second I met Heather, she said, how are you going to stay sober this week? I want to support you. So the people that didn't know the story looking like, huh? So Whitney was like, she said she wanted to room with Portia because she had 7 million followers. It'll be interesting at dinner if she claims she forgot saying any of that. So everybody now that was in the car with them is ready to see if Heather gonna backtrack and play dumb and act like she got amnesia and don't remember the fact that she said that to Leah upon first meeting her. So they get to the restaurant, and Giselle tells the Miami girls not to speak Spanish again. I would have told Giselle, you and your neck and them cankles can kiss my boot tag. Girl, you better go on somewhere. So Candace arrives. She's not even upset that she was left. Giselle was like, let's play a game. I want everyone to think about their worst impression of someone in the group and their best impression from today. And I was like, here we go. Here we go starting stuff. Here go Giselle starting stuff. This is a recipe for disaster. The ladies start the game, and then when it gets to Giselle, she says to Heather, before we came on a trip, me and you had a kiki, and I thought that, she's direct, that she tells people how she feels, but I felt like you didn't do that with Leah. So Leah then tells everybody about the situation with Heather and how she was trying to get her drunk and all of this type of stuff. And Heather was like, I said that? I literally don't remember saying that to you. And Leah was like, yeah, Whitney said you would do that. So Whitney was like, okay, throw me under the bus. And I'm like, okay, so this is Heather's game. This is what she likes to do. She does like to say stuff and then play dumb and act like she don't remember what she did. Okay, Heather, now I see you for your works. So Whitney then tells Candace that she thought that she wouldn't like her because she felt like she mom shamed Ashley. And Candace, however, says that she feels like Ashley reverse mom shamed her because she didn't have any biological kids of her own. So Portia then tries to tell Candace how she felt from a viewer's perspective. And I'm like, how you gonna tell this lady what she was thinking and feeling just based off what you saw on TV? And I'm like, Portia, what? You needed to mind your business, because you got enough going on in your own circle. So Candace was like, that's not how I felt, but okay, all right. And Portia was like, I mean, if you let me finish. And she was like, now that she wants to be a mom, she was like, dang, I shouldn't have been saying those things. Candy was like, I said it to be mean because she was being mean to me. So Portia's like, oh, okay, so you were just being shitty then. And everybody is kind of like looking at each other, and the episode goes off. And I was like, okay, so a storm is a brewing between Candace and Portia. We knew that was going to go down because Candace wasn't going to let that go, that Portia was sticking up for Monique. I mean, we all knew that wasn't just going to ride. Heather and Whitney are still at each other's throats. Leah is getting on people's nerves. Leah is offended by Heather. The only person that don't nobody really got a problem with via episode 1 is Alexia and Marisol. They are the only two that didn't have an issue with anybody else in the group based off episode 1. Episode 1, though, I will give it an overall score of a B+. It was really good. I'm really liking this cast put together. It's a different vibe from last season, even though I still feel like so far season 2 of Ultimate Girls Trip was by far the best. But this season is really good. I was laughing out loud, shaking my head. I can't wait to tell you guys how I felt about episode 2 and 3. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.